How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have another episode of Backstage Press, and we have True Statement Management. He can say his name and obviously what he does.
My name is Jim Morgan, and I'm the manager for the bands Visenya and The View From Here.
There we go. Well, Jim, obviously, I feel like I know you but don't know you because obviously I know like The View From Here, and I know Visenya. Shouts to both of them. Great New Jersey bands. But I guess the first thing would be is like, how did you start out in music? Was this something like management, something that you've always wanted to do, or like what was kind of like the foundations of like True Statement Management, basically?
Well, to make a long story short here,
You can make it as long as you want, just so you
yeah,
know. No, we got all the time. Well,
all
not
right,
all the time. We got a long time.
we got a long time. Well, I started playing in bands when I was like about 15 years old, like my high school band, and I had gotten us like our first gig, and everybody after we played was like, "Oh, Jim, that was awesome, man! Like, get us another." And I was like, "I don't know how to do that." And they said to me, they're like, "Oh, you'll figure it out." And like, sure enough, I did. So like, a lot of that, all the business side of like being in a band, I did myself for my high school band. So till we broke up like when I was like 18 or so. So for like 3 years, the band grew, and I did all like, at the time, MySpace had just come out, so that
Ooh,
was like
yeah.
social media, which that like exploded things for us. Um, but I just decided like I kind of enjoyed doing that side of things, learning it. I decided to go to college after my band split up, and I went for music business. So I have a bachelor's degree in business, and just kind of specialized in like music and the industry. Uh, Always tried to kind of do self-managing my own careers and things like that. I was in and out of bands, and I came together. I started managing The View From Here because I played a gig with them, and I really liked them, and I just thought they were like a little wild, and I was like, oh man, if this band like tones it together, they're gonna be incredible. And sure enough, I kept my eye on them, and they did, and they put out "Chill" as a single, and I was like blown away. I was like, I felt like after talking to them at that show, like they had listened to what I had to say. I was like blown away. So I went down to their next show, and I reintroduced myself. I said, I don't know if you remember me or whatnot. I said, but I don't know if you have anybody working with you, but I'd love to manage you guys. So I gave him my business card, and I kind of, we set up a meeting, and the rest is history there. Then, I got closer with Visenya, and then similarly the same thing. I kept my eye on them, and approached them about managing them full time. And so then I had, two bands under my belt, and I said, oh, great, I guess I have to start a company, which it actually is. This is a funny part of the story too. Is I didn't start True State Management. I actually joined it. My friend, my coworker now, Derek, formulated it, and he works with Jet Jaguar and
Nice.
Here's Too Late and Pete Zen. I don't know. We all
Shouts
know
to
really
shouts to
well.
Pete. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. So Pete messaged me and said, "Hey, my manager asked about The View From Here, and I was seeing if it was okay if I sent him your way." So I got to talking with Derek, and I kind of realized that he was looking to bring on a manager onto the True State team, and I was like, well, I could either start everything from scratch myself, or I could just join up with someone who's, I asked Pete about Derek. I kind of got the 411 on him. Was like, what do you like about him, and what do you not like? And I met with Derek a few times. We hit it off really well. We share a lot of the same values and ideas, and we have a lot of love for music and the bands we work for. So it was just a right decision to join up and bring the guys along.
there
And
we there we
and here,
go.
yeah,
I feel like obviously being from New Jersey, and shouts to all those bands. Pete, come on. I know you got time now, so feel free to
yeah,
come on. But I feel like a lot of the Jersey stuff I feel like I'm a little bit more interconnected with because I also reside in New Jersey as well. And so for me it's like cool to see that because like I've been working with The View From Here for a couple years now, I believe, and then same with Visenya, and to see them kind of like kind of hone in on their sound and, obviously be managed by you and stuff like that. And just to kind of see everything kind of like come to a full like T was very cool. It's very cool to see, and I'm excited to see what they do this year. Um,
Me too.
but that's really cool. Like, I kind of figured that's how the story went. Like, I was just like Jim. I was like Jim just feels like he was like either in a band or like just really connected with music. So, you know, so that it just felt like the obvious next step for you. It seemed like, and I can find a lot of like similarities to what I'm doing because I didn't grow up playing in bands, but like I love music. That's like something that
Yeah.
I'm just fully passionate about. So when I started this, I felt kind of the same way. I was just like, I don't know anybody who's really doing this, but like I'm just gonna do it, whatever, you know?
It definitely, the passion and the love for music is what you have to have in order to do something like you're doing, or something like I'm doing, or that Derek's doing, or that the bands are doing. You really have to love music and love creating it and love performing, and I mean, there's nothing like it to me. I'm constantly, going to shows and
Yeah,
stuff, and I'll see bands that I've grown up listening to, and I just shared it today. I had a video of Newfound Glory performing at Starling a couple years ago, and it was just the moments that I cherish is when the entire crowd sings louder than the band, or you hear everybody,
yeah,
or they. And I shared a video that I took, and that's like, every time I go to a show, for me, I'm like, it just reminds me so much of like why I do what I do, and why I am the way I am, and why I got stuck working in music. And it's just the only thing that makes sense to me. It's the only thing I really really love and care about outside of like my family and stuff like
yeah.
that. But it's really like my passion project, and I would rather be doing that than anything else. So
Well, that's good to hear. You want to have those people, like, not to say there aren't, not to say that a good majority of the people that are in the industry don't, care about what they do. But I feel like when you have somebody that's just like, I don't care what type of music you make, like, as long as you're passionate about it and stuff like that. And those are the type of people that I want to have on my channel because I know how much they believe in it because I know I believe in it that much. So for me to have people on like that, and for me to kind of start this series of like having people that work behind the scenes that really utilize and show off bands, whether it be in our home state of New Jersey or like in another country. I feel like for me it's important to show off those people because a lot of the times they're the people that like are really pushing for bands to do XYZ sort of thing, and trying to just do the next big thing. So I guess what are some of the qualities or like aspects you look for in a band when you're like going to like manage them, or you approach them to be like a manager or stuff like that? Like, what are some of the things you want out of a band to be like, I gotta talk to them, or I need to get them on, or I need to set up a meeting or something like that?
yeah, the first thing is the music. Is I want to hear a band's music and what they're making, and either the direction they're going to. You could hear a good song. It doesn't have to be polished and finalized from a studio or anything. If there's a good song there, you can hear it in a demo, whether it's a full band recorded demo and maybe not the best quality, or if it's something real stripped down, and just an idea.
Yeah.
You can kind of hear that. Um, and I'd like to think that, like, I saw the View from Here play. I had played a gig with them, and I just saw something different in them. I was like, oh man, these guys are good. They're really tight. They're really great musicians, and there are just a couple things, like I said, that I thought that they should change just a little bit, and I felt like they had, if that was either in the back of my mind or from working with a producer or whatever, but it seemed like, I don't want to take the credit for it, but it seems like.
If you don't mind, Jim, I'm curious what you had said to them because I know they'll watch this. I'm curious as a fan because I've been, like I said, I've been following them for a while. So I'm curious what you went up to them and said, like, I feel like you should maybe consider changing this, or like yada yada yada. I'm very curious. If you don't want to disclose that, I get it, but I feel like it'd be interesting.
I could tell you, I suppose. So I just thought their guitars, they were insane guitar players, and they were great in showcasing out talent. but I felt like they just needed to come down. They were at like 11, and they needed to come down to like 8 or 9. I was like, just scale it back, just like a little tiny
Just
bit,
time
a
back, yeah.
little tiny bit. And I felt like they did. Like it's not overpowering. Um, Justin and Ben now Justin and Ben, and they're phenomenal guitar players and phenomenal songwriters, and they're working on some new stuff now that is going to turn a lot of heads. I'm very, very, very excited to see what's coming out of them. It's trust me. I think the biggest thing as being a manager is you got to be a fan of the band. You really have to like the music.
Yeah.
That's the big picture, what it boils down to. And I love the View from Here stuff. I love Visenya stuff, and I just love sharing it. And when it connects with people and they enjoy it, that's like a victory for me and why I do things that I do and working in this and everything. So.
That's
See, I
it.
just told
That's
I told him to
interesting.
come down. Yeah, so I told the View from Here to come down from 11 to about 8 or 9, and they did, and they put out New Perspective, and it was great. And they released Lush, another single after that, which is an awesome song. And
Yeah.
they're just on the right. They're making the right moves in the right direction. They're finding their identity for sure. And
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel the same way with what you're talking about. And shout outs to Dave because I remember our first interview did with Dave, but
yeah,
and he's nuts. He's
maybe. Oh
shout outs to
no,
Dave. You're wild, Dave. I know you'll watch this, but you're
yeah,
nuts guitar player. I
yeah.
know because I
I don't
see
want to
this.
leave out. I don't want to leave out Abs too. Abdil.
Yeah,
Dave and Abs were the first guitar players of the View from Here, and for other reasons, not they decided they had to pursue some other things, and which happens in
yeah,
bands. But no, it was not a love lost thing. Like we're great friends. We're very close still. Dave hangs out all the time. Abs comes down and hangs out, and uh, but I got to give them props because they were the original guitar players, and they were they're just phenomenal, man. I'm blessed to be able to work with such talented musicians that just put me in awe, and it makes me laugh. And I'm like, man, I should have been locked in my room since I was 11 years old playing an instrument.
I feel like you. I feel like low key. You're probably a pretty good instrument. I know you play. Do you play? I think it's guitar, correct? Or
Yeah, I play guitar and I sing. I've kind of developed from being like into like a singer songwriter type thing. So I'll play out now, and I'll do like solo gigs, and I'll never stop writing music or playing or anything like that. That's something I love, and I don't know. You never know with anything. I'm not saying I'm trying to ride the coattails of the bands I manage, or trying to launch a project and take them with me. But I think I'm just creating and being involved in music constantly is what I love to do and what I'll always be doing.
oh, I mean, literally, that's my free time. This is what I do in my free time. So
Yeah,
if that speaks for anything, then I feel like that speaks for a lot. But um, the next question, Jim, I like asking some band questions. Throw them in here because I think it's interesting. Um, what have you been jamming recently? Like, who's on your Spotify? It doesn't even necessarily have to be the band you manage. I feel like you listen to them too. But what are
I
some
do.
bands you? What are some, what are some? I feel like that's a good thing. You want to hear that. I mean, if you said you didn't, then I'd be a little worried. But
Yeah.
what have you been listening to lately?
Lately, well, first I got to give a shout out. Our friends in Loyalty to Me just dropped a new single called Rewrites yesterday, and James from Visenya actually directed the video. It's his first music video he directed himself and edited and everything, and it came out phenomenal. The song is awesome. It was produced by Brett Roms of The Movie Life and I'm the Avalanche, who I'm a good friend of, and he's a phenomenal producer, and the song slaps, man. So I've listened to that. The new Feeney, they got a song out called
Ooh.
Bookends. That's another one. It's pretty solid. I got to give the shout out to them. I've been listening to, weirdly enough, I've revisited the Killers' first album, Hot Bus.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine is like one of my favorite songs of all time. Like it's just a well-written song. There's a lot of great songs on there. Obviously, that was the record that broke them through. But a lot of that, I cycle through a lot of like old records and try to listen to stuff, or something reminds me of something, and I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to this record. Midtown Living Well is the Best Revenge.
Ooh,
I just
nice. Yeah.
listened to a podcast about that, and these guys were gushing about this album, and I said, "Oh my god!" I listened to the podcast, and I was like, "Yeah!" And I threw it on like right after I had to
And
listen
you
to
just
it.
knew. You're like, I
So
missed this.
yeah, so I would say that's what I've been mostly listening to lately. This last week. Besides that, and then besides my own music, because I'm like I said, I've been spending time down here. I'm quarantined in Florida. This year, I'm talking to you from my office, which is my parents' living room. And I basically over here, if you can't see it, it's off camera, but I have like I have like a MIDI keyboard and everything. So this is kind of like the studio, is the living room, and just been working on some stuff, hanging out, having fun, and trying to pass the time while this goes on.
trying to have a good time. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
You got to do what you got to do. You got to enjoy it. That's why I'm doing this. I don't have anything
yeah.
else to do, so you might as well do the business stuff. But the next thing would be, Jim, another band question I ask: if you were to compile a dream tour, who'd be on the lineup?
Well, definitely the view from here in Visenya would be on it.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Um, all right, okay, so let me clarify this question. Is it like me going to
Yes.
watch the show?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then, well, definitely the view from here in Visenya,
Okay.
because they both have incredible live shows.
Can attest.
Translates well from record to stage. They have a lot of passion. Um, I'm really big on a band called I Am the Avalanche.
Ooh, yes, nice.
I grew up listening to like the Movie Life, and when they split off and Vinny started I Am the Avalanche, I really connected with them and made friends with them. But that's a band every time they play, along with the Movie Life. It's I just kind of lose my mind. So I'll throw Bayside on there.
Ooh, okay.
They're another solid band that I've seen a million times and everything, and played with, and I just love. Um, and then we'll put Thrice at the headlining spot.
Ooh, okay.
So I kind of think that there's my dream tour or dream show, and every band puts on a great live show, so I feel that it would be a good show to see.
Yeah, no, I that lineup sounds very cool, and if Thrice happens to, I know you might be in quarantine, so if you happen to scroll through and you see this interview, you should we should get that going.
Yeah, shout out Dustin Kensrew, Anthony Ranieri, come on guys, Vinny, make this tour happen, guys. Give the
Let's
people what they want.
a very cool tour. But the next question would be, Jim. Obviously, I have to get back into more of the managed mindset. But if there was one person, like a dream scenario, who would you want to have on your roster? Who would you want to manage?
Oh boy. Um, all right. So I'm gonna shout somebody out right now because he knows I've been trying to work with him for a while, and
Ooh, okay.
I think he's super talented, and you guys will it'll attest. You'll see it. There's a guy named Tam Garcia, and I grew up playing in bands with him and stuff, kind of in my later years after college, and we're very good friends. We still play shows together. I still hang out all the time, and he is one of the best singers and songwriters I have ever encountered. I've ever played in a band with, or ever had the point in time to be around. He actually just had an opening for Jay Leno.
What?
Yeah, he this is a funny story. So he plays pretty much everywhere, anywhere he can play. So he does lots of festivals, and there's this one festival that was in North Plainfield, and it was called Porch Fest, and they were basically just had like a street and artists playing on the street on different
Yeah.
porches. So he played it. He said, "Cool, whatever," and someone got in contact with him who had saw him there and got in contact with him and said, "Hey, how would you like to open for Jay Leno like in 4 days?" And he was like, "I would love to." So he had this opening slot for Jay Leno, and the stage it was set up like the stage was like a just a circle stage lit up, So here he is in like the middle of this room, and he's just playing his guitar and wailing out, and he's got a great voice and can really really kill it. And he brought the house down. He has this song. It's called "Under the Gun," which is like, oh, I'm telling you, man. So, Tam, I called you out, bro. Give me a call, man. You know the number.
This is the first time that I feel like this has happened on this show. So I feel like, listen, if Jim, I feel like Jim knows because he has Visenya, he has the view from here. So I feel like for me, I'll give Jim the cosign. Tam, you should hit him up. Listen. I'm not afraid to throw my weight around a little bit. I feel like I have a little bit, so I'll give you the cosign, Jim.
When we post this, I'm gonna tag him in it to see. I'll just tag him, and be like, "Hey, you should watch this." And,
You should watch, especially at this
yeah,
timestamp.
at this
Watch this.
timestamp is when you should watch.
Well, Tim, please hit up Jim. You know what you got to do. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna leave the ball is in your court now. But I'm just telling you. I mean, if it was me, I would be in that. I would be in Jim's DMs right now, or I'd hit him up on that text. Whatever. But the next thing, Jim, obviously the biggest and most important thing. Tell them about True Statement Management. Where they can best reach you at. Some of the things you're looking for, whether you're hoping for a band to reach out to you in terms of a manager, or or if you're looking for a certain type of band. I mean, obviously a lot of your bands are from Jersey, so I'd imagine you want to keep it that way. But what's the best way to contact you in regards to any information?
Well, if you want to contact me, I'm on all social medias. It's usually some variation of Jim Morgan, or the I think Facebook is the Jim Morgan. Facebook on our Instagram, it's Jim Effin Morgan, and on Twitter, it's Jim Morgan. Yeah, as you can see, I feel very vain with my tags there, and I should probably organize it all into one. But or you could send me an email at jimmorgan@truestatemanagement.com, and I'm always willing to check out new bands. They don't have to be just from Jersey. You could be from anywhere. Send me a message. Send me your stuff. If you guys are looking for just some guidance or counseling or anything like that, consulting, I'd be happy to do that too. You can shoot me an email or get in contact with me on social media. Happy to check it out and see if we can work out anything. Always looking for new artists. Always looking for new music, and it's not limited to rock bands. It doesn't matter what your genre is. I'm willing to take you on. So.
There we go. Well, go check out Jim under all of those things. I'm gonna have to dig around and find all of that, or Jim's just gonna send it to me, and then I'm gonna be like,
I'll send it to you.
well, all of the links will be in the description at the very least. So go check out Jim. Go check out the bands he manages. The View from Here, Visenya. I mean, I feel like if you haven't already, I mean, I do my part of sharing both of those bands because I believe in them. I love them.
Here's my time to co-sign for you. You featured them on your show multiple times, so that says something. If you're bringing them back, you obviously know what you're talking about.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Well, you there.
Also, if you haven't checked out our two most recent interviews and our funny sketch video, you should check that out because that was awesome. I had a great time. Shouts to James for editing it. But check out Jim. Seriously, like, obviously I don't know you. I've met you probably at a Visenya show and or a View from Here show, didn't even realize it. So I'm glad we were finally able to get it going. But go check out Jim. Go email him. Seriously, this guy, I've seen it myself. This guy works hard. He believes in his bands. He loves music, much like myself. So I gotta give Jim the cosign because I know he does. I know he puts in that work, and I love seeing the grind too because I feel like it's very harkens back to me, not to be like narcissistic, but I know how hard I work and I know how hard he works. So I definitely wanted to have Jim on. And if you enjoyed this interview, share it, like and subscribe. If you're in the industry and you'd like to come on, shoot me an email or GM me on social media. I'd love to have you on and have your story be told. But like I said, go check out Jim's stuff. And thanks to Jim of True State Management for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Appreciate it, man.